You guys, welcome to our HappyBasins Jungle Room. We're so excited that you came to hear us talk about the memorial for Isis's precious little babies that were stillborn yesterday. We had 6 babies that were fully developed and looked beautiful. 5 of those were born stillborn, and 1 of them was born alive, but only made it for minutes after the birth. And then we had 2 babies that were underdeveloped, hardened, and twisted all together. And we just think maybe that they were, in the same egg. One of them was half developed and the other one was almost all the way developed. But they were hard and stiff when they came out, unlike the other babies that came out looking like a fully developed baby. And the good news, woohoo, is that we do have 1 baby that survived 193 days of Isis being pregnant. These, the basin emerald tree boas are typically pregnant 130 to 180 days. So there was so much concern at 190 days that we made a full plan. We had surgeons waiting for us in Iowa. We were going to drive Isis from Arkansas to Iowa to have a surgery on Tuesday night to cut her open and take out whatever was in there because nothing was moving. There were no labor, and we were afraid for Isis's life. Well, she did give birth the very morning that we were going to leave that afternoon to take her to Iowa. And like I said, we had really 7.5 babies that didn't make it, and 1 beautiful, precious little baby who did. And the babies were born in the rain chamber. So some of the folks have come up with the name for the baby as Poseidon. And then we also had some other folks who wanted the name to be Aphrodite because it was the meaning of love. So I've been calling the baby Poseidon Aphrodite because I do like the fact that he was born in water, and then yes, all the love. So you guys, what we're here for today is to talk about the memorial that we're going to create for these precious little babies that we don't get to spend time with in the living flesh, but we are going to add them to our beautiful art here. Come on over and let's have a look. You guys, this is Rundo and Allison Surf. And Rundo is the artist who created the beautiful snakescape sculpture that you see behind you. And we are going to talk about details of that after we talk about our memorial. We'll go into more details about the art that we have now. And then we have Allison Surf. And Allison Surf created the mural that you see here behind our snakescape. So you guys, Rundo and Allison Surf have been thinking of some really neat ideas about how to memorialize Isis's babies into the painting here. So I'm just going to turn it over to them right now, and they're going to tell you some of their ideas. And then after that, we are going to look more closely at the art that's here. And then at the very end of this video, I am going to show you guys our sweet little Poseidon Aphrodite. All right, Rundo and Allison Surf, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Amy. Yes. So we have been discussing a little bit on some ways that we can memorialize these babies. And I initially thought right away, because there was 1.5 babies, is that correct, Amy? That was not fully developed, but still underdeveloped. And my initial thought on that was there is part of the universe and the stars in the sky in this
which you have
corner.
started already. Yep.
Yeah. And for me, it's kind of like still in the spirit world kind of realm. So I would like to maybe do something with that idea as far as for those particular special babies.
Right. Since there's already like a star effect, we were imagining that these 1.5 babies would be just suggested like stars. You'll be able to make them out that they're snakes, kind of, but it's spiritual. It's a spiritual world.
Right, right.
So it's just kind of continuation of what she has going on up there already, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Until they'll get to see that after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they can't see it right now, but...
So,
oh, yeah, you'll be able to see that after when the camera comes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just think that that would be a really nice, you know, place for them on the painting.
Yes.
Like a special place.
Yeah, it's great that it was already there.
Powell's iPad.
Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hi, Amy Powell's iPad.
You guys keep going.
Oh,
So for me, that was my first initial thought. And so I'm super excited that you kind of can see the idea
Yeah.
too. Like you're
Yeah,
right
yeah.
on the same page.
right.
And then, of course, we have the other babies that were fully developed, and 7 of those. So there was one that six total.
Fully developed.
Okay, 6 total. But the one that was here with us for 20, 30 minutes.
Oh yes, 7 total because 1's alive still.
Right, right.
Okay.
That we kind of discussed a little bit, and
Yes.
we kind of felt like it would be a really great place on this side of the painting. There's DNA going up that is kind of in combination with a jungle tree. And there's a little suggestive passageway that's been left open there.
Right.
I was always going to add more to this painting, so it's kind of perfect that we can add these babies to it.
Right.
Because it's not finished. It's a work in progress.
Right. It's a continuation of the story.
Yes, it very much is. This painting has really evolved into kind of a storybook in
Yeah, yeah.
certain ways.
Oh,
So
sure.
I'm so excited
Sure.
that you're going to be a part of this.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yes, it's going to be awesome.
Plus,
And
there's but the jungle that she has back there, it's like futuristic, and so we can imagine those babies,
Mm-hmm.
those 6 that were
developed.
developed but stillborn, that they're going off into that next jungle world.
Yes, yes. So I would personally like to see if maybe the one that was here with us for 20 to 30 minutes
Yes.
is the leader,
Yes.
you know, because he's kind of, you know, he's been here, and so he's going to guide the rest
Right.
to
He'll
that
lead the
new
way.
jungle,
Yes.
you know, that new perfect life.
Yes.
And I would love to be able to incorporate every little marking and detail as what we have from photographs,
Yeah.
as they are very specific snakes, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So,
And then for the live one,
yes.
Poseidon.
Our little sweet, precious sweet pea, Poseidon.
Right.
We had talked about it.
Right.
I don't know if you can see, but obviously this was very much inspired by Amy and Isis. And even from some of the live videos, y'all have seen Isis come right up to Amy and kiss her on the nose and just
Right.
be right in her face.
Yes.
So that's just the perfect position. But what do you think? That branch?
Yeah, we were thinking like this branch with the leaves on it,
Mm-hmm.
like the baby Poseidon could be just hanging right off of that in its little S shape,
Mm-hmm.
you know, maybe ready for its meal, but we're looking at mom.
Yeah, because it's so close to mom, but it's also so close to Amy.
Yeah.
So it's like the 3 of them,
Yes.
you know?
I think it's awesome that all this is already here, as if it was meant to be, like finish the story.
Yes,
It's so
is.
cool.
It is going to be such a great part of the story, and I really can't wait to see it. Like,
Yes.
start to come to life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll watch it from sketches to painting.
Yeah.
We'll be doing our thing to where it's completed.
Collaborating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
Oh, that'll be so much fun.
Yeah. And the
Yes.
babies will be specific with their markings so that, you know, and just really have it incorporate their colors, their everything.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah.
I think that will be amazing. I'm really, really actually looking forward to getting back on the project.
Yes.
So,
How long did it take you to do this?
well, it was, that in itself is like a story, because Amy and Larry were so gracious as hosts. They kind of let me do my thing. They never told me what to put or where to put it.
Right.
All of it was inspired by Amy, the snakes, and of course the trips that we have been able to take together, which are amazing. I think about them all the time.
Right.
And every once in a while, maybe like once or twice a week, I would come over and they would have it all set up for me upstairs, lights, anything I could ever need, music. They would be gracious and leave their speaker on for me so I could Bluetooth.
Toddies.
And she would cook me some fabulous little snacks and she would make me some really great drinks. And I would just go to town, and it was always so fun because we would take breaks, we would get to visit, we would get to hang out, and then I would, they would go to bed and I would work, paint, and I got to sleep here, and they always took really good care of me.
That's
so it was
great.
always fun.
Yeah,
it was fun to come. And I think I may have dragged it out a little long because that way I could have an excuse to come over and, it was
Well, it
fun.
looks like you were having fun.
Oh yeah, it was
So
it was
colorful
really
and vibrant.
great. And
Yes.
the fact that she put your tree with it, because I never saw that. I always just thought this would be just a painting standing alone.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. It just made everything so real and perfect. I love it.
Helps the whole corner.
Yeah. It's just a real cool thing.
Yes.
So that was a great idea, Amy.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you guys heard Allison talk about her fantastic mural, and we are going to actually look at the mural and talk about details of the mural and what the different pieces mean after Rundo talks about his snakescape art. And Rundo, if you can just give us a briefing of the different pieces of the art, and then maybe talk just for a minute about the delivery when you delivered it all the way down here from New York, and we weren't even here, but you came and set it up.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, so the different pieces. So you're seeing these perches. It's like there's 4 pieces to the setup. You got 1, 2, 3 perches that I originally set it up into a vertical enclosure, and this was the background. So the snakes could hang on these 3 different levels. Amy wanted some water bowl-like features, so I created these inside the sculpture, and I clear coated them to make them look wet and look like they're just oozing water. And the whole setup was kind of neat. And then she took it apart and put it into this awesome display, which I still don't have the words for. It's just really beautiful with everything, the paintings, the sculpture. Job well done.
Thank you. And let's just have a look at the mushrooms and the
the mushrooms, the tree. Well, this is the fun part, to just have fun creating, and sculpting all this stuff. I just make it up out of my head. But I do try to make it look as real as possible. You got some lichens up there, my leaves, my rubber leaves.
It's beautiful.
It is a nice piece. It was a fun piece. Talk about fun, though, was the installation of it, because it was, like I said earlier, it was in this vertical enclosure. And when I finished it, I was supposed to come and deliver it and help install it with Amy and Larry. But it just so happened that they were going to be away that weekend. And I didn't know them, they didn't know me, but they were kind enough to just say, the key's under the mat, go in there and do your thing. So I drove the piece from New York to Arkansas. I had the house to myself. I just set up shop, spent a whole bunch of hours installing the darn thing, and man, it came out. Then I left. I mean, I made a big mess while I was there, but then I left like I was never even there. I hope I didn't leave a mess behind.
It was like you were never here.
Right. And so its original was a little different than what you see here. But this here is really nice.
And Rundo, can you tell us a little bit about snakescapes? This is not a one-time piece that you created. You are a snakescapes artist.
Professional.
Yes. Can you just tell us about snakescapes?
Well, snakescapes is this concept I thought of a long time ago, something to just a really beautiful, functional way to create environments for my favorite snakes, which are these emeralds. And so over the years, and I'm an artist too, so over the years I was trying to come up with a functional, practical way to house these snakes, giving them the things they need, cool perches that has texture on it, and little little stumps so that they can shed on, and things to help them. And the way you can't really see it here, but these perches are made so that when the snake hangs in its S shape, there's nothing to get in its way if it should strike at a meal or anything like that. They're functionalities first, but then over the years I developed ways to make backgrounds and ways to make the full total habitat. So there's a whole system, heating, humidity, lighting, and then to create like these museum quality pieces. So it's on a commission type thing, but anybody could just say, hey, snakescapes, make me one of those. And I would say, yeah, sure.
And they can find you?
Oh, they can find me online, snakescapes.com. One word, right? Yes.
Yes.
Snakescapes.com.
Or Facebook.
Or Facebook, Instagram, you can check that stuff out on. And if you see things and you'd like to inquire, just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you straight away.
Perfect. All right, you guys, that was pretty exciting hearing about snakescapes, and I'm already seeing comments that people are dying to get a snakescape.
Oh, really? Oh,
so
good.
Once you guys go to the website or check out his work on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see the beautiful things that he does, which when we started noticing his work of other reptile keepers had some of his pieces, and Larry and I were like, we want one of those. And so here we have our 6-foot tree. And like Rundo was saying, these perches were actually created vertical for a tall enclosure that we had. And they just, inside the enclosure, all of Ron's perches, of course, if you ask for it, if you don't want it, he doesn't have to, but he makes them removable. So you never have to try to get the animal off the perch. These vertical perches, when they hung the way they were meant to, just came right out of the enclosure. Just fantastic. You guys will see his stuff when you look him up online.
But know too that I use epoxy to make all of these works, and it's the same stuff used in zoos and aquariums around the world.
Safe.
It's safe. So I'm not introducing anything new into the market. I'm just taking this medium and manipulating it my way and just having fun with it, making this stuff up out of my head. So it's safe, it's non-toxic, and it's built to last. These things stay forever. You have to pretty much bang it with a hammer to do damage on it, right?
It's not a piñata.
No, it's not. No, it's not. This strong stuff.
And you guys, Ron Rundo is doing snakescapes now and has been for a long time. He's been growing this concept, but he has his entire life been an artist. And if you go to Ron Rundo, just Google Ron Rundo, you will see the sculptures and paintings. It's an absolute honor to have you create our memorial, you and Allison working together.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is be fun because she's talented. My gosh, this will be just a fun mix.
Come on over here, Allison. I hope you guys can hear me okay. They are mic'd up, but they're close enough to me.
Yes.
You guys, when I reached out to these guys this morning, because when I was taking a shower, I just, it all hit me. All of the grief that I did not express yesterday just hit me, and I thank you. And it was, I'm sure you can imagine how it was. And Larry had a picture of the babies, the healthy babies laid out, and I was looking at those little faces and their little eyes and each of their little markings, and I thought, these babies, they are our babies, and we are going to memorialize them somehow. And I reached out to the artists who have already brought so much to this room, and they agreed, like, boom, there was no hesitation whatsoever. And hours after I thought of the idea, here they are.
Right.
So we're going to have Allison now talk about the details of the mural that she did. Allison and I have traveled twice to the Amazon rainforest to find emerald tree boas in the wild. And everything that she's done in this mural is a depiction of either parts of our trip or time in this jungle room. Mm-hmm. So you guys can enjoy her talking about it. I'm going to take Rundo's mic because we may both talk because the experience belonged to both of us. Mm-hmm. And I'll run the camera as she's talking to make sure that you guys see each thing that she talks about. All right.
I'll give this to you.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can start.
Well, This was clearly a really big deal for when Amy was going to redo the jungle room and she had asked me to do this painting. I was very, very floored because I knew when she was going to redo this room that it was going to be top of the line and beautiful, and the plants and the live, just all of it. She does such a great job with all the details. So I really wanted to make this painting great. And it just all hit me all at once on kind of the overall feel of the painting that I wanted. I wanted it to be bright colors. I wanted it to just be happy and vibrant, because that is so much Amy. I mean, she wears her lime green and she just, you know, is very vibrant and passionate about the jungle. And I wanted all those colors to really come through, which is why I used such bright colors. But clearly, the main inspiration was her and Isis. Isis has always been one of my favorite snakes. Ever since I came very first to the jungle room, Isis was just amazing. She was big and she was just like royalty to me, you know, like, and so she's always been my favorite. Not that I don't love all of them, but she just has something very special. And so I knew right away Amy was going to be holding her. And I tried very hard to make her face look very realistic to Isis's face. And
we took a good close-up picture and we printed it out in an 8x10, and Allison sat with that picture to create this.
Yes, and her body is not fully painted yet. There's still some markings going down her body that I need to add. But I spent a lot of time on the face, and I love the position because, like I said earlier, I mean, you've seen Isis do this to Amy. If you've watched any of her live feeds, I mean, she does this. Like, she comes and checks her right out. And I loved the universe so much because Larry has been just amazing in all the trips and just helping with all of this. Like, we joked around that he was the universe builder. Like, he could do anything. He could build anything. So I really wanted that incorporated. And I think it's perfect because it'll be such a perfect little place for the memorial of those, that 1.5 baby being there. I really like that idea of them being in the spirit realm and the stars, like stardust, they were still being formed. Yeah. And, you know,
which reminds me of a whole thing I forgot that I said I was going to do.
Yeah. So I just love that idea. And like I said, this is very much unfinished. But on the other side, this was very much a basis on our personal experiences. So there was one time in Peru, we were hiking around in the jungle looking for the emeralds, and I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. I mean, I was swatting at them and just like, oh my goodness. And I looked at Amy and I was like, man, these insects are sure tearing me up. And she made the most perfect response. Like, I could not have even thought of anything better, but it's so true. She was like, just be appreciative of all the insect bites, because they're actually taking a little bit of your DNA and bringing and dispersing it throughout the jungle. And perfect. I couldn't agree more. So hence the DNA strand, and the little mosquito next to it, because that was her response and it just made sense. So I incorporated it into a jungle tree because it's being dispersed into the jungle. And during that trip, we also saw some of the pink dolphins swimming, which was a kind of a bucket list thing for me. Just to be able to see them swimming in their natural habitat was really amazing. So I definitely wanted to incorporate those animals into the painting. And then this specific area here, it was probably one of my favorite camps that we ever stayed at. And it was beautiful there. This was in Suriname. They had these little mining camps with these little shacks that we stayed in. And there was one particular window that had the best view in the house. And Amy snatched it right up and put her hammock right by that window.
I couldn't get my hammock up fast enough first.
I mean, she was really, this is where I'm staying. And so I had to include the little green hammock because, of course, her hammock was lime green. So if you were to look, you could see out towards this way. And we just had so many great memories there. I just felt like that was really important to incorporate. And during that trip, one of the emeralds we found was actually solid green, the anaconda phase.
Not even anaconda phase. Completely 100% patternless.
Yeah.
And I'll put a link to some pictures of that animal in the comments.
It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful snake. And so I started drawing that little beauty right here. Again, the detail isn't finished. I just laid out the basic structure and color, but that is what that snake is representative of that very special one we found, our very last one of that trip.
Our
too.
6th emerald we found on that trip, and it was on the 6th day.
Yes.
And at that time, it was my 6th trip to the jungle.
Yes, and we actually named it Zeus, which means 6
In Dutch.
in Dutch. So it was just really a special snake, very memorable for me. So I really wanted that snake in there too. And then the harpy eagle, I'm just a big fan of eagles in general, all eagles, golden, bald harpies. It was my dream to be able to see a harpy. I did not get to see any harpies, but Amy told me an amazing story about when she was in Peru and she got to see one. So that was just a given that I was going to include a harpy because I love them and so does she. And she actually got to see one in real life, which is amazing. So all of these little scenes in the painting really were something very special to me memories-wise. I think about those trips all the time.
Speaking of trips, can you stand on this side for a minute?
Sure.
I just wanted to show you guys, I'm not going to talk about the experience, but I'll just show you the little mushroom that Allison included. Those little mushrooms there are also from one of our trips together. That's all I'm saying about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything is definitely very personal. I had such an amazing time doing it. I kind of left it unfinished so that we could keep working on it throughout the time. But the fact that now we get to incorporate all these little precious babies of Isis into the story is really exciting. And I'm really honored that she would have me even be a part of it. So I'm super thankful for that. And being able to work with Ron is going to be awesome because like Amy said, his art is literally amazing. It's so good.
We have 2 amazing artists here for our fabulous memorial of our babies. You guys got to look at Rundo's amazing work on his snakescape sculpture, at Surf's beautiful mural that incorporates it's a story. This mural tells a story of our trips and our time together in this jungle and already showcases Isis. And now we're going to include her sweet, precious babies in there. And something that I wanted to do is I would like to name the babies. I would like you guys to name the babies. So over the next week, I will be checking the comments to see what kind of names you guys come up with, but I do have a parameter. The babies are going to be named after stars. So you can name them after, I'm going to say, we'll go further than just stars and say celestial bodies, if I'm saying celestial right. And that would include a nebula, if you have a particular nebula that you think is so beautiful. So we're going to name the babies after celestial bodies, stars, nebulas, whatever you guys find out there, and we'll memorialize them with names.
I love that idea.
Yes.
That is a really great idea.
So you guys keep that up. Another exciting piece of news, I won't always be able to have Rundo and Surf here for it, but I am going to be doing a weekly live update of sketches. Whichever one or both are here to talk about it, we'll do that also. I will schedule those as we go along. I don't want to make a set time right now, because if there's a day spontaneously that they can both be here, then I would take advantage of that to do our live meeting about the sketches and ideas and things we're coming up with, and we'll go through that all the way till the end of the project. You guys, this is, you know, it was this morning what made me cry so hard was thinking that there was no end to this story. The babies are gone, and that was it. It was like, poof, but now what? And so when I knew I was going to memorialize them, of course, the first thing I thought of was a grave, because that's a typical way we do things like that in our society. And I was thinking of things, a Facebook post, and then I thought, when I thought of this, I knew that was it. And this does not give us an end to the story, but a beginning of a whole new chapter of this story with our sweet babies. Thank you guys so much for sharing all of this with us and being here. This love and support that came from you guys out there during this past 13 days we were live. 13 days. All of us were holding our breath and frozen every time Isis twitched a muscle.
Yes.
So I did promise that you guys were going to get to look at the baby, and we're going to do that, and I'll talk about that. You two are excused. Thank you. And Allison, don't forget you're mic'd up still. So I am going to show you guys little Poseidon Aphrodite. Larry is completely in charge of the baby. It's going to be best for one person to completely take care of the baby. Larry is a dentist. He's been in practice over 30 years. He's very respected his patients. Some of you are out there listening right now. Love Larry. He's extremely gentle, and he's just known for his gentle hands and his gentle demeanor. And Larry is the perfect person. If this baby's going to have a chance, it's going to be with Larry. So we are going to show you the baby. He's actually doing really well. Can you tell me how well we can see him here? This baby is actually perched. So some of you watched him on the monitor last night, and he moved around quite a lot. He really explored. He even looked like he was drinking out of his water bowl, whether he was just had his mouth in it or actually drinking, I couldn't tell. But some of you monitored him all night long. And now he's perched up on the wire, which is a very good sign. So the fact that his body's not just hanging and that he is actually using his muscles to perch is a very good sign. So thank you, love. Another thing I would like to say about little Poseidon Aphrodite is you guys have heard me talk about how I like to keep my hopes all the way at the top until I need to find something else to have my hopes up about. So this little baby is doing well today, and we're going to keep an eye on him. Larry had to do a very slight little surgery on his belly after he was born. I've asked Larry to tell us about that in front of the camera, and you know what he said? He's standing back behind me, behind the camera right now. Can't believe I said that. But Larry did have to push the sac of the baby back inside of him or her after the birth. The sac was out, it shouldn't have been. And then he had to tie the umbilical cord off with some non-wax dental floss, and then cut the umbilical cord so that it wouldn't hook on anything and pull that sac back out. So Larry's been keeping a very good eye on the baby. He also has been applying some antibiotic cream. And what is that normally called? Neosporin, but this is just 100% pure antibiotic cream Larry's been putting on that baby and taking very good care of little Poseidon Aphrodite. So we are just going to continue thinking about that little baby growing up and being a strong, healthy animal. So you guys just keep thinking about that, and we're just going to be super thankful for our little stars that we had that are going to be memorialized in this beautiful art. You guys, I'm about to sign off. I'm going to see you again soon. Keep being amazing. You have been the most wonderful support. Why don't you guys all come over here real quick and just, we'll just show our faces. And by all, I did mean 4 people.
Come on, Larry.
So, thank you guys for coming here today with us. Bye.
All right, that wasn't so bad.
No, that was awesome.